someone that didn't show up for a while but came back overpowered. In chapter 132, when Mahito hit Todo with idol transfiguration, we thought his career was over. I mean, Todo himself said Boogie Woogie was dead, and Gege pretty much forgot to bring Yuji's besto friendo back for 3 whole years. But now, his comeback in chapter 259 is generational.
Long time no see. You're alive. I'm alive, he says.
It was revealed that this was all part of the Sorcerer team's plan to gain an advantage in battle against Sukuna, because Todo's Boogie Woogie was far from done and dusted. With his 530,000 IQ, Todo not only brought it back, but also made it so OP that it instantly had Sukuna quaking in his boots. After all, this thing, called the Vibra Slap, is what makes Todo a special grade sorcerer.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Let me explain. Previously, Todo's Boogie Woogie technique required a clap to swap anything infused with curse energy, allowing only a single swap at a time. The technique's effectiveness was primarily due to Todo's extraordinary creativity and high IQ despite its limited range. However, Todo has now changed the trigger to be the collision of metal pieces and a wooden box. Just imagine how often the beads in a shaker collide, and now envision Todo using Boogie Woogie with each sound, which means he can now use his curse technique 50 times per second. To put it into perspective, even special grade curses like Hanami or Mahito couldn't keep up with the basic version of Boogie Woogie, which tells us that this upgrade is a nightmare. So thanks to the Vibra Slap, Todo formed a roulette of sorts by swapping himself, Yuji and Sukuna as they continuously switch places. It is literally impossible to keep track whilst fighting off attacks, even for Sukuna himself. Although this technique isn't offensive, the fact that it's so hard to keep up with makes Sukuna comment that this was the worst time for Todo to show up, because he is very self-centered, as it is extremely hard to destabilize his pace in a fight. Now, at this point of the video, you've probably can tell by now, the power scaling of Jujutsu Kaisen is so insane, because landing a single attack on 20-finger Hayonara Sukuna already puts you at the upper echelons. Even at 15 fingers, no one dares to move an inch against him. Hell, even GOJO couldn't hit a single punch. But Todo trained just like everyone else to boost his stats within the 1-month time skip, which allowed him to land a huge kick to Sukuna's face and more. This is all achieved through his upgraded technique. When Sukuna tried to blast everyone in his furnace, Todo was capable of rescuing everyone. He could expand the range of his technique and replace all sorcerers inside Sukuna's domain with Mei's crows. Vibra Slap causes hundreds of collisions every time Todo strikes the wooden bank. He could theoretically perform just as many swaps per second. However, he limited this to only 50 to create a binding vow that traded the higher number of swaps for a larger range and the ability to target multiple individuals. So, despite Furnace's massive fire blast in the Malevolent Shrine, Todo expanded his technique to cover the area and made such a huge substitution without Sukuna even noticing. Beforehand, as a grade 1, Todo fought against 5 grade 1 cursed spirits and a special grade all at the same time, but only uses his technique against special grade cursed spirits. Mind you, he beat all of them at the same time and was even strong enough to hurt Hanami, whose defense scaled the highest out of the disaster curses. He can also do Black Flash to an extent which unleashes 120% of his potential, which means he's more proficient at it than others, and can also deal with domain expansions since he has simple domain just like the others. But now he's facing the strongest of all time, where the power, speed and defense is not a problem for him to have a role in the fight, unlike an actual grade 1 such as Ino, who he puts himself. This is way out of my league. For someone on my level, I think I did a pretty good job. So there's no doubt that along with Todo's physical strength, knowledge of curse energy and high IQ, the updated version of Boogie Woogie is the best support to have. Now, to enjoy more peak fiction, why not find out about Rimuru and how he's the strongest anime character probably ever created?